Okay, the material received last. In FIFO method, it was the material received first. We were issuing it first. Now it is just the reverse. Just the reverse. And this method is very suitable when the prices show a rising trend. Okay, so here you can see that first in, first out method. Here, this method is more suitable when the price show a falling trend. When it shows a falling trend. But here, when it comes to the LIFO method, here it is very suitable when the prices show a rising trend. So we are going to go with the last one, the stock which has come into our store last at the end, that would be issued first based on the requisition coming up from different departments. So that's last and first out method. Material received last are issued first. Now we will just look at one example for this, right? So in this case, you can observe June 1 and June 10th, there are received, right? So there is no difference. Receipt part, there is no difference. The difference in LIFO and FIFO method comes when there is an issue. When there is an issue based on requisition coming up from different departments. Okay, so we are going to look at, see here, the first part is same. Right. Initially, we started with a stock of 500 June 1st. So the balance on that day was 500 at the rate of 5,000. Then on 10th, we had a receipt that is 300 at the rate of 3,600. So on that date, our balance was earlier. The previous one we had was 500 at the rate of 10, 300 at the rate of 12. Till here, there is no difference between the previous method. Now we are going to look at the transaction. So in June 15, there is an issue needed of 700 kg. Now the question comes, from where to? In FIFO method, we know that. Let's look at how it happens in LIFO method. How it happens in LIFO method is last in, first out. So here the last stock which came in was 300 at the rate of 12, that is 3,600. So the first one to be issued would be 300 at the rate of 12, 3,600. I hope you understand me. There is only one difference which you have to understand between these two methods. If you learn FIFO method, the other method is also okay for you. Just understanding one, last in, first out. So 300 is issued first. Our requisition was for 700. So we know that we need more. So what do? We take from 500. We need only 400. So we took 400 at the rate of 12, 4,000. I hope it is clear for you, right? So 300 taken first, then we take 400. So from the balance, on that day, our balance is 500 minus 400. 300 got exhausted, fully got exhausted. So what is left for us on that day is, it would be 100 at the rate of, we have to see what is the rate. The rate applicable here is 10. 100 at the rate of 10, that is 1,000. Are you there with me? So this would be last in, first out. That's the only thing which you have to understand. Okay. Now going again with the transaction. We are just looking at the transaction. So June 15th, we made an issue. June 20th, we received 400 units. June 25th, we have an issue of 300. Okay, June 25th, we have an issue of 300. Let's see how do we do that. If you have understood the method, by now you have identified that it would be issued from 400. This 300 is going to be issued from 400 because 400 is the one which we received latest. So it would be 300 at the rate of 14. Let's check whether that has been here. See here. When we had a receipt on June 20th, it was 400 at the rate of 14. So it will come as 5,600. So the balance on that day, we already had 100. Right. We already had 100. That was at the rate of 10. Then what did we do? We went with another 400, which was our receipt 14. So that was the balance on June 20th. Now, as we checked, we had an issue on June 25th. That was a requisition for 300 units. Now we know that this is LIFO method, last in first out. So our 300 would be going from this 400. So 300 at the rate of 14, which is 4,200. Right? Now the balance on that day, as we know, you should not change the order, because if you change the order, you will lose the mark. You will get confused and your answer would be wrong. So you should not change the order. You have to write appropriately as it enters the store. So as we know, the balance on 25th would be, we already had 100 units, 10. So we will put here 100 at the rate of 10,000. Okay, and we know that we issued 300 from this 400 balance. So the remaining here is 100 at the rate of 14,400. That's it. Okay, so we have to remember this order. Now we are going to look at what has happened. Then on June 25th, June 27th, we received another 500. Right. So June 26th, 25th, 27th, we received 500. We record that and we keep that as a balance. June 30th, we had an issue. Now we are smart enough to understand that this issue would be from this 500. Since this is last in first out method, this would be from this 500. Okay, let's check. See here, we had a receipt 500. So our existing stock on June 27th was 100 at the rate of 10, which we already had, which we had been transferring from the beginning, right? Then again, we had 100, which came from here, 100 at the rate of 14. Then the new receipt, which is 500 at the rate of 11, 5,500. Now on June 30th, we saw the transaction that there was a requisition for 200 units. Now, how does that happen? It will be 200 being issued from this 500. So automatically what will happen? 200 at the rate of 11, 2,200. Now we are just putting the balance. Now the balance is 100 at the rate of 10. It was there. Again, 100 at the rate of 14. Again, from this 500, 200 being issued. So that is 300 at the rate of 11, 3,300. So simple. I said no. If you understand one method, others are very simple. LIFO and FIFO is very similar. Then average and weighted average is very similar. They both are, more or less, if you understand one, the other is very easy for you to learn. Okay, so now we take the stock. We put here stock. The closing stock as on June 30th is equal to 100 at the rate of 10,000. Again, 100 at the rate of 14, 1,400. 300 at the rate of 11. So it would be totally, how much it will be? 5,700. That's it. It's so simple. This is what we call as the LIFO method. We already learned first in first out method. Now we have learned the LIFO method, that is last in first out method.